Hello friends, and welcome to my August update. Got a lot of exciting things happening in August and I can't wait to share them all with you. But before we look at August, let's look at what we coloured in July. July was a fun month. I really enjoyed everything we coloured in July. And you can still pick up the July Colour Club pack if you want to join in, or you've got the books, you can find those yellows and do it. Let's have a look at what we coloured. I coloured from Night Garden, and this is one of my favourites. It's Elven Home. Went a little bit pink on our Pegasus here. A little bit My Little Pony, but I loved it. Fit in so well with the blues and the twilight scene from our Elven Home. Lots of Ohuhu markers and some polychromos as well. And I think we splurged out with a little bit of metallic marker happening. And that was Elven Home. And we also coloured in from Forest Song. It's like Blast from the Past, Forest Song and Night Garden. And we've coloured in Temptation from Forest Song. And I coloured in from the paperback, I coloured in the duplicate with the difference, which is a little bit different. It's got a closed door. Just wanted to play with that duplicates with a difference. Don't often do the duplicates with a difference, but I really loved because we brought in a whole lot of warm colours for our border and reflected those in our house. But I wanted the forest to be a really cold and forbidding, so we went with some blues on blues. So we got the warmth with the contrast of the cold colours. So there's also lots of temptation to go and buy bags of lollies whilst I was colouring this. So hopefully you were able to bypass that desire if you coloured along with me. We also coloured from Christmas Tiny Homes because it's July and in Australia it's really cold, so Christmas in July made sense. And I coloured in East because I'm South. And I went with a Blue Willow sort of vibe. I wanted blues from that old school China, if you remember it. And we offset those blues with the warmth of the sunset and brought those warm colours through Santa and a little bit inside this stalk, for which Santa, for some reason, is flying along on. I thought it was really effective. Once again, we had contrast in that Temptation one. We've got contrast in this, so it's always fun to have a bit of contrast in the colours you choose when you're colouring. That was Christmas Tiny Homes, and our final signature book illustration was from A Frog's Tale, and I coloured in Plein Air, and I printed it out on some really hardy oil pastel sketch paper, and I went hardcore with watercolour markers, Winsor & Newton watercolour markers and my Derwent Inktense, and pretty much threw everything I had just lying around into it just to play. And it was great fun. Had these big expanses of sky and big expanses of green. It really worked well. I love the splotchy watercolour vibe going on in all of it. So Mr. Fogarty is always a fun guy to colour in. What else did we colour? Well, we did colour from Tiny Tales, and we coloured Dragon. I called it Dragon Circle. It's from the Dragon section of Volume 2, which is chock full of cute little dragons. And here we have this tiny little guy wrapped around a vine. There's some flowers and this little Christmas beetle bug thing flying around. He's obviously on the hunt. Yeah, I think I used Derwent Inktense on this again, but with some Ohuhus, blending Ohuhus for that background. It's fun. I hope you guys are enjoying Tiny Tales. I certainly am. Just picking out little bits, and it's a fun, quick colour. As is Awake and Asleep. We coloured from Awake in July, and what we coloured was A Fresh Pot of Tea, which features this happy-looking caterpillar who's obviously just made himself a fresh pot of tea. Once again, Ohuhus. I can't get past my Ohuhus when I'm doing these Sweet and Simple books. And some metallic markers for the gold on the china and his hat, because I think if a caterpillar's wearing a fez, it needs to have a gold tassel There's one we've done previously. So that's what we did in July. If you missed any of the colour alongs, they're all still available up on my YouTube channel at rjhampson.com. And you can still, as I said, buy the Colour Club pack if you don't have the books. But that, my friends, is what happened in July. Well, let's look ahead. Let's look ahead to what we're colouring in August. Well, first thing we're going to colour in August, Steampunk Revival. And here's the cover. And the page we're going to colour from Steampunk Revival is this one. It's called The Nanny. And it's a picture of this little nanny taking the baby and the dog for a walk across a fun bridge with roses around it. And she has a pram which has been steampunked. A fun little image. I can't wait to colour it in. Here's a preview of a couple of the other illustrations that will be coming soon in that book, Steampunk Revival. All right, let us have a look at the other things we'll be colouring. I'm going to be colouring from steampunk houses, doing a bit of a steampunk vibe maybe this month. This was my first steampunk house. 5 years ago, I released Steampunk Houses, and I'm doing Steampunk Revival as a celebration of the first release of my first colouring book, and as to say thank you to all you guys for your support. I'm looking forward to giving it back in Steampunk Revival, but this is Steampunk Houses, and I'm going to colour in the powerhouse. What else are we going to colour? I'm going to colour from Mountain King. Mountain King's a favourite. And I couldn't resist the phoenix. I've got these two phoenixes and this wonderful border. And I don't know, phoenixes, reds maybe, reds and oranges. We'll have to see. We'll have to see when we get there, but could be fun to do reds and oranges and then contrast it with some nice dark greens around this border. As I've said before, I do like a bit of a contrast. Well, that's what's colouring from Mountain King, and we're also colouring from Lost and Found, which is another favourite. And Mr. Fogarty is going to make an appearance again, and here he is in Lost in the City, riding this penny farthing, snails in the basket. He's not looking happy. And like the nanny, he's got a little parasol. His watch is dangling behind him. Doesn't look too upset at being lost in the city. I'm sure he'll find himself. He's a very clever frog. All right, now we did Awake last month, and in August we're going to be doing Asleep, and I'm going to be doing Iceberg Ice Cream. Because penguins. Look at those guys. This one's fallen asleep with his ice cream. I don't think it's going to melt because they're on an iceberg. And this little baby's got some fish and it's got one in its mouth, and they're all fallen asleep. And with their scarves and their beanies on. How can you not want to colour that in? And we're going to go for 20 Tales, which is my final, the sixth and final colour along that I'm going to do in August, and volume 1. And this is a page from Animals, which has a cute little tiger, these two mice spinning yarn, and I'm sure spinning some yarns. And this little rabbit who seems to be dabbling in a bucket of paint. I'm not sure who he's going to jump on, but he looks like he means business. Well, that's the plan. That's what I'm going to be colouring in August, and that's also what we coloured in July. Well, I'm really looking forward to August. I can't wait to colour all of these in and colour along with you guys, and I also can't wait to release the new book, Steampunk Revival. We'll be colouring from the Steampunk Revival too, so it's going to hit and then we're going to immediately colour it. Can't wait to share it with you guys. Can't wait to see what you think of it. So keep your eyes peeled because there'll be more news coming soon. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate your support. Remember to like and subscribe, and I shall see you in August with our colour alongs and maybe with a book release. All the best. For now, I'm going to say goodbye, but I shall see you no doubt in another video. Bye-bye, guys.